Hello everyone, it's Jen from Creative Housewives, and today I am so excited about the project that I have to share with you. I am loving summer. I'm enjoying everything that we've been able to do, but when I saw this project in Design Space, I knew, or I guess actually it's probably an image in Design Space, I knew I was gonna have to get crafting with it right away. I'm pretty sure they're new, but did anybody else see these cute little pumpkin Mickey and Minnies that popped up in Design Space? In Design Space, they're actually in there as like a sucker lollipop wrapper. So there's another layer that like allows you to put the sucker on the inside, which is also really cute. But I knew that I wanted to use them to add a little home decor for the holidays, for Halloween and stuff coming up. So I'm going to show you how in Design Space I took the image that was already there and changed it so that it could be used for different projects. It was really pretty simple, but there are a few steps that you're going to want to follow. And then I'm also going to teach you how I am going through the layering process and stuff for these, because there's some pretty small intricate pieces. So I hope that you're excited. I'm really excited. And yeah, let's just jump right into Design Space and I'll show you where you can find these images and how to change them.
All right, so we're here in Design Space and we are gonna go find the images that we want to use to make this fun Disney Halloween banner. So I'm just gonna come over here, I'm gonna click on images and we'll let that open, and it's gonna open us to here. Earlier I tried searching through like the brands through Disney and stuff, and I didn't have a lot of success that way. So I'm just gonna search for what I know the name is. So if we search Halloween Mickey, then it brings up a few different options. And this is the one I'm going to use today. I also think these are adorable, but I'm going to use this one. So we're gonna go ahead and select this one and add it to my canvas. And then I'm going to select one other, and we're gonna search Halloween Minnie. And now we've got that one there. Now I do wanna note, because these are a licensed image, there is a fee associated with them. They are $1.99. Once you purchase them, you own them. So you don't have to, it doesn't matter if you have like Cricut access and you decide not to keep it or whatever, you own it. So you don't have to worry about that. So I'm gonna go ahead and select that. I'm going to say add to canvas. And now these are like wraps for like, and it would be super cute, but like a popsicle, or not a popsicle, a like lollipop. So that's why it has the hole there. And then you would close it along the top. I want to make these just images though, that I can use for making a banner. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna go through, and you can see I have like this layer here, and then there's this background layer that has the score section. I'm going to hide that part. I don't need that part. So I'm going to come down here and I'm going to do the same thing to the Mickey Mouse. But I did want you to see that what changes is I'm losing the back of his eyes, or I lost the back of her eyes. When I get rid of that background, I'm going to lose the back of his eyes. So we're going to do a couple steps to just bring that back. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hide those layers. So now we have these two, just going to slide them down a little bit. We have these two images, and they're pretty tall right now. She's just over 5 inches tall, and he is just over 4.27, so just over 4.25 inches tall. So that's fine, but there's a few things that I want to change. So the first thing that I want to change is I want to change the color of them to a more traditional like Halloween orange, because I'm not doing that background layer. So I'm going to go ahead and do her, and now I'm going to, oops, I accidentally hit that instead of just selecting it. We're going to go ahead and select that. Then we're going to go ahead and do that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take just this layer here. See, that's the only one that's selected, and I'm going to highlight it, and I am going to duplicate it. So now I have this little guy, and it still has the hole, so he's not very helpful to me. But if I jump over here to contour, and I select hide all contours, then that's going to hide the pieces of his face. So now I just have this great solid orange. So I'm going to send that to the back, and I'm going to send it to the back. And now I've got him. So now when I slide that behind, we've got our perfect little piece there. And so now those orange parts of his eyes are back in the back. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do the same thing with the Minnie here. I'm going to select that layer. I'm going to right click here. I'm going to select duplicate. And now I'm going to take this here and I am going to select contour. And I'm going to say hide all contours. And now I'm going to send this to the back. And I'm going to slide it up here and you can see that that fits right there for us as well. Okay, so now that's done. But I wanted to walk you through really quick just so that you can see there's going to be quite a few cuts. So first we have the yellow cut that has pretty much everything. So let me see if I can just move this. Well, we'll be able to see it on the canvas. But that has pretty much everything except the eyes, like this inner part of the eyes. It's almost solid. Then we have, or actually if we start from the back, we have our solid orange. That's going to be our very back layer. Then we have our yellow layer on both of them. That has everything except for that little part of the eyes that shows from that orange back layer. Then we have this black layer. And then that brings in, if I hide it, you can see. So keep an eye around like her eyes. So if I hide this layer, then we lose that detail around the eyes and the mouth. So this is the same cut essentially as this top orange layer. It just, the orange layer is a little bit of a bigger mouth and stuff. So you can see those details around the nose and stuff. So I like that. It gives us, otherwise it looks kind of like weird along here or along the brim of the nose. So I'm going to go ahead and leave that. And then we have this layer here, which is our orange layer. So if you get rid of that, then you lose all the orange, which we definitely don't want. And then this layer is like the lines of the pumpkin. So this one is where it's going to come in handy to have like a really fine point on our adhesive. So that's great. And then on the difference, here that you can see on the difference between the Mickey and the Minnie is, so on that black layer, she has her lashes and he does not have lashes. And then she also has her double layer bow. So we've got the darker green background and then the lighter green. And then the Mickey is the exact same, except for he doesn't have a bow and the lashes aren't on his black pumpkin line layer. So I think this is great. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all of my Mickey with the background. And I want to be able to do quite a few of these. So I don't want them to be gigantic. I'm going to make him 3 inches tall. And then if we go back to 100%, you can see that that's still like a good size Mickey Mouse. And then I'm going to take, I'm going to take Minnie here. And I'm going to select both of her layers. And I know with her bow, she's taller. So I'm going to start by setting it at 3.5. And then we're just going to drag her over and see. And it looks like it's not exact, but it's pretty close. And so I think that's great. So now we have both of our both of our images, the size that we want. We've hidden those, the wrap part for making it the sucker wrap. So now I can just send these to the canvas and we can go ahead and cut them as many times as we want. Before we proceed further, because I've made all these changes, I'm going to do Mickey and Minnie pumpkin banner. Oh, we'll call it a garland. It's kind of going to just be like the repetitive so it can hang. So we've got that saved. Now I want to show you that when I click make it, because I haven't purchased these images yet, when I click make it, it's going to tell me, it's going to, sort it into the mats and stuff. I'm going to be doing it on a mat. We'll say continue. And it's showing you that we've got, the black mat has multiple pieces. The orange mat has multiple pieces. The yellow mat. And then the green mats just have the 2. And then obviously since I want to cut more, so say I wanted to have 5 of each Mickey and Minnie for a total of 10 total little pumpkin things to go on my garland. So you can see we've got a whole sheet, and then one more on this, and then that gets those guys on. And I feel like I could do some moving around. We'll figure out that when we're actually ready to cut. I feel like I could do, maybe not on these ones, but I could do some moving around to get them to fit on fewer mats. But it's like we've got our yellow. It's like, doesn't it seem like, let's just see if there's any way. So if you click those dots, we can say move object, and then we can say we want to move it to this other yellow mat. And then it's going to put it on there. And so now I can slide it here. And let's see if we rotate it. I don't know if it will, but we can see. If we rotate it. So yeah, so like if I look at how much room I've got. So I can definitely, so since that's the only one there, then we've got that set. So that's great. Like that's, and so like on this one here, I can definitely move these to that other mat because these are even a little bit smaller than this pumpkin layer was. So now, Cricut does try to lay it out, but I don't feel like they always make the best use of your space. So by adding this one here, I'm just using one 12 by 12 piece of yellow paper instead of two. So then it says here, checkout. So if I click checkout, it's going to prompt me, to pay. It's going to be $3.98 plus tax minus I get 40 cents off for being an Access subscriber. So we can go ahead and do that. I'm going to not do that on camera, and then we will come back and we will get ready to actually get this cut. That by moving all of those little pieces around, I saved one piece of black cardstock here. So I was able to move the ones that were on that mat here. I was able to save this piece of orange cardstock and this piece of yellow cardstock. So I just wanted to show you that it is worth it. It won't always work. But in this case, you can see there's plenty of room around the, in between these Mickey heads that I didn't have to worry about it. And then there's this red line, so it won't let you, so even if I select this and try to, it won't let me move past that. So you don't have to worry about accidentally moving past where the cut portion of your mat is. So now we're going to go ahead and select continue. And I'm using my Maker 3. This can be, because of the size of these Mickey heads, Mickey and Minnie heads, these can literally be cut on any Cricut machine. I'm using cardstock, so that just uses the fine point blade, and it can be, so these are small enough that they could be cut on the Cricut Joy. They could be cut on any of the Explore or Maker machines that are out there. And we're gonna let this connect. There we go. And then I am using Cricut cardstock. So this is the Cricut. You can see by the C in the corner, this is just their setting for their medium cardstock. So I'm gonna go ahead and select that. And then we can jump over to the machine and start cutting. And here we are. I have my black cardstock loaded on my two mats. I did use a brayer to make sure it was pressed down really well, and I'm using the blue light grip mat. Okay, as you can see, we got all of our pieces cut out. And I just wanted to call out that this was not a fast project. The cutting out period itself is about 40 minutes if you're going to be cutting out this many. And so I did 5 Minnie heads and 5 Mickey heads for a total of 10. So just so that you're aware, it is not a very quick process. So I'm going to show you, it's not hard, but it's not fast. So I'm going to show you how we're going to go ahead and assemble this. We're going to start with these little bows here, the little leaf bows, and I am using art glitter glue. Dries clear. It's my favorite, really the only paper crafting glue I use anymore. It has this great precision tip, which makes it great for projects like this. So I'm going to flip this over. I am using just a little scrap piece of cardstock under it so I don't get adhesive all over my mat here. And it doesn't take a ton, but the great thing is it does dry clear, so you don't have to worry if it kind of, you know, spills over a little bit. So I like to just get a little bit and then spread it around. I do want it to be stuck on nice and well. Since this is going to be for a banner, it shouldn't be like handled a ton, but it will be handled more than like maybe say like a card would be. So I just want to get all the way around, especially in these corners. And then we're going to take our green base. So this is the dark green base, and then this is the lighter green top outline. And we're just going to set it on and then make sure that we have it fit everywhere that we need it to. So I can just go around. You want to look from the back and the front and just make sure that it's getting pushed where it needs to be. And then, like I said, all of this glue will dry nice and clear. I love that it dries clear, and I love that because of the precision tip, you don't have to use a lot, and I've never had it like warp my cardstock. If you deal a lot with like glues and adhesives, then you know what I'm talking about, and that can happen. So now we have this inside piece here. So I'm gonna go ahead and just do the same thing. I don't need the the protective piece of cardstock here. So I'm just gonna, because this is just sticking flat on, I'm just gonna add a little bit of glue all the way around. And this stuff sticks amazing, way better than any tape runner or like other glue pen that I have ever used. I don't have any problem or like qualms about using it for things that are gonna be decor. I made quite a few Christmas, just different cute Christmas banners a few years ago, and I used this and they are great. Okay, so now we have the bow assembled. So step one. So now our next step is going to be assembling the Mickey itself. So here's what we're gonna do with the Mickey. We're gonna save this piece until we're ready to actually string it on the garland. So we're gonna set that to the side here. And then, but just so that we can see, we have the yellow layer is next, because you can see it has the fewest cuts. And then we have our black Mickey layer. And then we just want to layer those. And then we'll finalize with the orange Mickey layer. You can see it's going to give us just that little bit of a black background around the eyes, and then by having that back layer on there, we get the orange on the back. So that's what it's gonna look like when it's completely finished. Actually, I guess not completely finished, these layers. And then since we're working on a Minnie first, let me grab one of these that has the lashes. Oops. And then that's gonna sit on the top. So I wanna talk about this piece for a moment. Obviously, I resized my project. It's not quite as big as it was on for the lollipop folder thing, but this little piece was kind of a beast. I would say I would find the thickest cardstock that you can and then choose that setting, because it was very difficult. And when I say very difficult, I just mean like you really need to take your time and make sure that you're not like tearing it. So because it is so thin, these, like, if you use not a very good cardstock, I had one piece that I tried in the beginning, and like the layers of the cardstock itself were peeling, and then it was tearing, and it was just, I felt more difficult than it needed to be. And so I just think that if we, choose the right settings, then that's not something that we need to worry about. Okay, so this piece is going to sit on the actual pumpkin part here. And it's supposed to sit up a little bit, like it doesn't sit edge to edge. The only place that I see that it's supposed to go to the edge is these here. So I am gonna have to, like, when I'm gluing these down, stick them down in the right spots so that they're coming down, because these are supposed to line up with the mouth. The rest of them are supposed to be off just a little bit. So we're gonna start with this layer. And then other than the bow piece, the assembly for these is going to be the exact same. So we're gonna go ahead and flip this over, and we're just gonna start adding adhesive just kind of everywhere that, like on all these lines, so that it's stuck down really well, because we are gonna, like I said, especially with these ones, we do need to make sure that we can, because they're kind of like pushing out a little bit, which is making them long, and we don't want that. So like I said, so far, I would not call this project hard at all, but because of all of these little pieces, and for how long like it took and stuff, this is going to be a time-consuming project. One of those great projects for turning on a show or a podcast and listening to it while you're doing it. I know, like, I actually have one that I've used before, that this could be like a good project or like a good piece if you have like the Xyron sticker maker. The only problem that I have with that thing is I do not like the way the adhesive like gets in the middle areas. So you'd want to make sure you have, I think it's like an adhesive eraser type thing, that you can use to put the, like to clean it up after you stick it down. Okay, so we know that that's supposed to line up in the middle there. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. And then this needs to move a little bit. It's too far one way, so that we can get this one over here. And my guess is these are not going to be like perfectly spaced all the way around for the room between, you know, like the edges. It's not, I may have like a little more room here than I have here, just because these are so thin. And that one's got to line up there. And then we need this one to line up. And look at that. So we have that all stuck down. And then all these little glue pieces, or like where you can see the white, that'll dry nice and clear, which I'll show you in 1/2 second. Just want to get that. That's like a little chunk of glue, which you can see on this. So you can't see any adhesive anywhere on there, which I think is awesome. All right, now we're gonna go ahead and we're just gonna keep layering. From here it gets easier, because now we just have to add, you know, just glue along the back. I would try to get like along those middle, you want those parts to stick down. And then close to the edges at least. I'm not using a ton of glue, so it's not gonna push out a lot. So I just wanna make sure that I'm getting close to the edges so that it stays stuck down. All right. So now we're gonna adhere this piece to this piece. We wanna have just that like nice little bit of offset. It's got little fibers there. That little bit of offset all around the eyes and stuff. And now we've got our yellow piece next. Looks like that could kind of go up a little bit even. So I would check from the back and the front. It looks like I'm a little bit off there, but I'm not seeing really extra black here, so I think we're okay. And this is just gonna be the process for each of these little Mickey heads that are so stinking cute. I am a huge Disneyland for all of the different holidays fan. And I love when they have the Mickey and stuff, the big Mickey jack-o'-lantern set up. That's a fun time for me. Okay. So now this one looks nice and good. Getting glue from my fingers on here. All right. So remember, we're gonna save this last orange piece because what I wanna do on this one is I wanna figure out where my banner is gonna go through. I think it's gonna go like right under the ears. And so I'll add like adhesive up here and then down in this area so that we can feed the string through but still be able to slide these so that they sit where we want them to sit. And then it looks like on the image, this overlaps like right there. It just comes down a little bit into that part. So I'm actually going to start by just putting a little adhesive here and then along that. And then we can kind of see where, get in under here and see where the adhesive is gonna go. Because having a little bit on the back I don't think is a big deal, but I wouldn't want to have a ton. Like I got a little bit right there. Just wipe that off. And then we'll get in here. See if you can see what I'm doing here. And I'm just going along by holding that other side in place. A little bit to the ear there. I'll hold that. Let it just set. You don't have to hold it for very long. That's another thing I love about this glue is that it just, you know, just dries nice and tacky pretty quick. Wipe off that. And that'll all dry and it wouldn't even really matter that much because then when the time comes, we're gonna add this little piece here. So now I'm just going to speed this up and assemble all these pieces. Okay, we now have 4 completely assembled. We have 2 Mickeys and 2 Minnies, and they are adorable, but I still have 6 more to go, and I just don't think, even sped up, that this is exciting enough that anybody wants to watch it. So I'm gonna go ahead and end this, and we'll come back when we are ready to actually do the stringing. So here I've started stringing. Look how cute they are. I'm gonna show you how I'm stringing this so that I can still slide, because sometimes I like to have them like hung, but then maybe some hanging down. So this way I can slide them wherever I need them to be. So what I'm doing is I'm taking the finished like layered piece, and then I'm gluing up here by the ears, just here at the top, and then here by the nose and around the eyes so that those have the orange stuck to them, since that part shows through to the front. But I'm not gluing in any of this area, all here in the middle. So that way, when I stick this together, it has all of that space where there is no adhesive, no glue. And I'm still using my art glitter glue. You could use any glue for this. You could use hot glue, whatever. I'm just using this to finish it off. So there's that one. And then we're down to our last cute little Minnie Mouse. Our little pumpkin-y Minnie. And then stick this down. Now, if you wanted, which I didn't want because I already had it here, but if you wanted, you could go through and do all this step, leaving those parts open, and then by adding like a needle here to the end, you could just feed it through. But by doing it while I like just putting the string, this is just like a cute little black and white baker's twine, by putting it in while I went, it's just, they're just already on there, and then I don't have to worry about going through. But there you go. Aren't they adorable? Oh, they're so cute. They just make me happy and make me want to go to Disneyland really badly.
Okay, what do you think? Did you like this project as much as I did? I think these are so cute. I actually kind of can't wait until I can hang them in my house. I think if I hung them up right now, my family might think I was trying to get rid of them and ready for school to start back up. But they were super simple. They're, like I said, this is not a fast project. It is not a hard project, but it's not fast. You are going to, if it were me, I would turn on a movie and I would sit and I would let the machine cut them out, and I would just take my time putting them together. I really can't stress enough for this black layer on the front that have these just like little thin lines to make sure you're using a good quality cardstock. You're gonna be really disappointed if you're using like a really cheap cardstock. And I would find like the thickest one that you could find, because pulling those up off the mat, even when using the spatula, that got a little bit tricky. And so just don't rush it. Take your time. Definitely use the blue light grip mat. That helped a lot, I think, also. So I did 10 total little Mickey and Minnie heads, so 5 of each, and then I put them on the baker's twine so that in a way that allows them to be slid around so that they can be changed. I could hang them here along the front of my thing and add some like little sway to it if I wanted to. I used art glitter glue. We get asked all the time what glue to use for paper crafting. I cannot say enough good things about it. I am a huge fan. I've been using it, gosh, for like 4 years now exclusively. It's the only glue that I use when I am paper crafting. I love it. And then you can use any, twine, string, or whatever. I just used this black and white baker's twine because it worked really well for this project. But in the end, you only need a few things. I needed for as many as I did, I needed a couple of sheets of black cardstock, a couple of sheets of orange cardstock, and then I only needed 1 sheet of each of the color of green and 1 yellow. And the greens, you really just used a little bit of that. I'm trying to think of what else. Oh, just to remember, the images are not free, even if you are a Cricut Access subscriber, because they are Disney licensed. Cricut doesn't own the license for them, so you can use them. You have to purchase them to use them. They were $1.99 each. You do get a discount if you are a Cricut Access subscriber, so that's great. And then the difference between purchasing an image and using images that are included in your Cricut Access subscription is that with like these, when you purchase them, you own them forever. So Cricut Access is similar to, we call it like the Netflix for crafting. It's similar to that, where you have access to all of those images, but if you cancel your subscription, you don't have access to them anymore. That's not how purchased images work. If you purchase these images, then you own them forever. So you don't have to worry about them going away. And I think that's great. I am going to share the link to the canvas where I've already manipulated these so that they could be used for this project. And I'll put those down in the description along with the supplies and stuff that I used. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to leave them in the comments. I hope that you found this helpful and that it was a fun project to make. And if you did, I'd love to have you subscribe to our channel here. You can also find us on social media. You can find us at Creative Housewives, where we share all sorts of home decor, DIY, recipes, that type of stuff. And then Cricut Inspiration is where we share all of our Cricut projects, like things like this, where we do, just like little things here and there. So I hope you'll subscribe here, and I hope that you will join us again next week, where we'll make another project from start to finish. If you have any requests, go ahead and leave those in the comments. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.